Good. Oh, sorry, I forgot to move my thing over. It's just one of those day to days. I started looking over here and I was like, "Where's my camera?" Okay, there you are. So, good evening, everybody, and welcome into our evening weather update here with Southern Tennessee weather. I'm meteorologist Elijah Kirby, and thank you for being with us this evening. Widespread freezing rain is ongoing across the region at this time. We're starting to get a few places above freezing. We'll show that here in just a second. A transition to rain is expected to start soon across our far southeastern areas. And how far north does that transition line get? We're going to look at some of the latest data coming into us here in the Weather Center, and hopefully we can come up with some good information for y'all to have for this evening and into tonight. Now, it's important to note that we are basically past the forecast stage. Okay, so there's not going to be any new forecasts, accumulation maps come out. What I have out is what I have out at this point. We're now moving into the nowcast stage, or the observation stage, right? I'm keeping an eye on the radar. I'm keeping an eye on everything I'm seeing on my end and helping you with, reporting on the weather and telling you what's going on at home. Okay. So let's go ahead and move in here to. Um, Let's go ahead and move into temperatures. These are the current temperatures that we're seeing right now across the area, still in the low 20s across Murray County. And that's kind of the area I'm most concerned with when it comes to potential freezing rain accumulation. We're seeing widespread freezing rain across the entire area right now. We'll look at that here in just a second. But the area that's going to see the most freezing rain is going to be up there in Murray County and northern Marshall County over the next couple hours, okay? 27 degrees in Shelbyville, 27 in Bell Buckle, 28 in Manchester, 30 in Tullahoma, and 30 in Lynchburg. So you can see we're starting to get up into the lower 30s here across not interstate or not US, the Tennessee State Route 55 corridor. I apologize. I've been doing this since almost 12 hours now, so I apologize if I sound a little tired or anything. But I'm trying my hardest here, folks. So on top of the plateau, we're talking Altamont, Swanee. We're in the low 30s too, but in Winchester, you can see we're already at 34 degrees. Okay, so it can be reasonably inferred that freezing rain is starting to transition over to normal rain in Winchester. Now, it's going to take a while for you to even notice that stuff is starting to melt outside. I'm talking, probably 2 or 3 hours before road conditions really start to improve or anything like that. But it's a good sign that we're starting to see these above freezing temperatures start to creep in, okay? About this time, around sunset, is when I forecasted the warm nose, or the area of warm air to transition us over to rain, was going to begin moving into the southeastern portions of our region, and that is happening right now across the area. Okay, so over the next few hours, this transition line, the 32-degree freezing line, will continue to push further north and west, and we'll look at the latest data here in just a second to show that. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the radar over or we're just going to look at it everywhere across the region. So widespread freezing rain is ongoing with the pinks here showing up on the map. There could be probably just some normal rain ongoing in this general corridor in Franklin County. Probably looks something more like this right here, if I had to guess. But honestly, there's still a lot of freezing rain out there, and across the vast majority of our area, other than far extreme southeastern Franklin County. And even there, it's going to take a while for you to notice that things are switching over towards to normal rain, okay? There is a pretty good glaze of ice on the trees. Now I'm seeing outside the weather center here on Madison Street in Shelbyville, and I'm sure that's the case for a lot of us here, with a moderate to sometimes even heavy freezing rain occurring across the region this afternoon. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to our show we have here, and we're going to move on to the next slide. So these are all the weather alerts we have, all the different weather alerts we have in effect across the region. So ice storm warning is in effect for counties just west of our area. Ice storm warning is also in effect further towards the east, okay, just east of our area. A winter storm warning is in effect for Marshall, Murray, Bedford, Coffee, and Grundy County, okay? A winter weather advisory is in effect in the blue shading for Moore County and Franklin County. Now, if this doesn't kind of sum up the messiness of this system right here with the ice storm warnings and the winter storm warnings and the winter weather advisories all across the area, I don't know what will, because I mean, honestly, this paints a great picture on how messy and crazy this system has been. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at current skycam views across the region. We're now getting after dark, and it's going to take a little bit for some of these to switch over, but we can see here in Chapel Hill some of the rain starting to come down. That's freezing rain, okay? Temperature 27 degrees here in Chapel Hill, relative humidity of 100%, and winds east-northeast at 6 miles per hour here in Chapel Hill with pretty substantial freezing rain coming down right now. I know that looks like snow or sleet, but that is freezing rain more than likely there, okay? So let's go ahead and check on Cornersville next up here. It'll take a second for the camera to load the latest data in. If it's not down, the Cornersville camera may be down at this time um, for whatever reason. Okay, here it is. So we can see that precipitation is falling from the sky. 27 degrees here in Cornersville too. So this is going to be freezing rain, right, in the Cornersville area. Now let's go ahead and check on Lewisburg. It'll take a minute for Lewisburg to switch over too, but I promise it will here in just a second. Temperature 27 degrees in Lewisburg as well. Relative humidity of 100%. And winds out of the east-northeast at 6 miles per hour here. And we can see icy all over the roadways here in Lewisburg. Just a messy night to be out and about today across the area. Now, let's go ahead and look at Shelbyville. There's not much to look at with Shelbyville right now. It's all iced over. And this paints a pretty good picture on where we're seeing the freezing rain right now. It's all iced over. Yep, there's the latest view from the Shelbyville camera. Not much going on. Just a lot of blurred lights there from the ice accretion that has occurred on the on the camera lens. So now let's look at Manchester, exit 114 off I-24. Temperature 30 degrees, so a little bit warmer than where we're seeing off to the north and to the west, but still fairly rainy and icy with the freezing rain that's currently falling. And it looks like that the interstate is fairly well cleared, at least for right now, which is great news. So now we're going to look at Estill Springs here. This will take a second to switch over to nighttime mode, which will happen hopefully very soon in just a second. Maybe. There it is, and rain is falling. Temperature 30 degrees. So what is that rain? It's freezing rain, okay? Relative humidity of 94%. So Estill Springs will likely be next up to transition from freezing rain into normal rain as we go deeper into the evening hours tonight, okay? I-24 at Mont Eagle, temperature of 34 degrees on I-24 in Mont Eagle. Probably a little bit chillier. 34 degrees would be the temperature in Winchester, so it's probably a little bit cooler here on top of the plateau. You can see the glaze of ice there reflecting off the interstate lights that they have at the exit, the big lights there. You can see the glistening of the branches there. So relative humidity of 100% and winds out of the north-northeast at 2 miles per hour here in Mont Eagle right now, okay? And here's Cowan. Still looks like a lot of ice on the ground in Cowan here. Temperature 34 degrees, but you can see the drips starting to come down there. That could indicate where we're getting a little bit of melting, but like I said, it's going to take a little while before we start to see really good improvement on the roadways and stuff like that across the area. So just remember to keep taking it slow, across the area until we get this rain to push in and settle in over a few hours and start melting stuff off the roadways a really good bit. So This is the latest future cast. I'm going to stop that right there, and we're going to come back. So, this actually paints a really good picture of what's going on right now. The temperatures are a little bit on the cooler side, but still, we're seeing a slow transition over to rain across Franklin County right now and Grundy County. Okay, and as we go deeper, we can see that this transition line gets to Shelbyville around 10 p.m., Bell Buckle around 10 p.m. And then it continues to push up past midnight into Marshall County. And then it may just kind of stall out there, right in the northwestern corner of Marshall County, or in the Murray County, excuse me, where we could stay below freezing for this entire event here. Okay. But by 6 or 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, we're going to start to see a transition back over to freezing precipitation from west to east. And we can see this well by 11 o'clock in the morning. The freezing precipitation is back into Marshall County and Murray County. And then this will continue by 2:30 p.m. It's back into Bedford County, and then it will continue to push off. And we'll just have some we'll have some scattered sleet showers and snow showers into the afternoon and evening hours tomorrow. This is at 5:30 p.m. Still seeing some sleet showers and some snow showers. Could be possible. Some light snow showers could put down a little dusting, not very much, but a little dusting there will be possible on a Monday morning. Now, the temperatures stopped, so on Monday at 1:30 a.m., it's not going to be 40 degrees in Franklin County and Grundy County. Okay, I forgot to change the data set that we were using for the temperature reading, so I apologize for that. But it does look like that most of us are still going to have the opportunity to change over to plain rain, but just be aware that I am watching, especially northwestern Murray County, where we could stay freezing rain the entire event. And if that's the case, we'll be talking about even increased totals upwards of 7/10 of an inch to 1 inch plus of ice. Now, I don't think right now that is a very likely scenario, but it's something that I'm going to be keeping in mind over the next few hours as I'm watching the radar and everything else. Okay. So one other thing that I wanted to bring up too with the radar. Okay. If we go back here, I'm going to go to the national radar, and we're going to see that there is a little dry slot that is kind of popped up here. We're well in the freezing rain and precipitation area here, but you can see there's a lot of dry air here, not very much precipitation, and that dry air is going to shift in this way. Now, I do eventually think that we'll start to see precip blossom across this circled area as the night goes on and the low pressure off to the south begins to strengthen, but it is interesting to note that at least right now we do have this dry slot. So that could help cut down on some of the ice accumulation totals. I don't think it's going to cut down on much, especially in areas that are expecting a changeover to rain, because that transition will happen before the dry slot gets to us. But just be aware that, we maybe in northern in western Murray County and off to the north and west past there, the ice accumulation totals could be cut down a tad thanks to this horribly modeled dry slot that we have here across the area. But you could see how massive this winter storm is from Washington D.C., Richmond, Virginia, all the way down to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and even into Mexico. Even into Mexico, they're getting frozen precipitation. This is a gigantic system. And I'd actually like to see, I don't know if I don't guess it's going to let me do that. I wanted to measure it, but I don't remember how to do that. This is still a new system for me, or a new graphics system for me. So I'm trying to learn all the quirks and stuff, but I don't guess that I can look at that right now, which is fine. But we're going to zoom back in here low, and just know that this is, I would assume this is over 1,000 miles worth of precipitation from this gigantic winter storm. This winter storm is huge, and it's very, very impressive. And we're right here in the middle of the ice, where, at least for right now, we will eventually start to transition as the evening goes on. But for right now, anyway, we are squarely in the snow and sleet or the freezing rain zone, not snow and sleet. Snow and sleet is off to the north of us. So, if you can't tell, I'm very tired. I've been working hard since about 6 o'clock this morning. So, I'm going into hour 12 here, and it doesn't look like I'm going to be stopping anytime soon. So, um, I had to take a sip of water there real quick. Sorry about that. So let's look at road temperatures again, because one of the impacts that I have been telling folks to get ready for will be after the system begins to exit tomorrow evening. Once we get past 5, 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, we will likely see any moisture that's left on the roads begin to freeze over. Okay, so let's look at the latest road conditions map forecast from the from our proprietary model that we have in house here. And by 7:30 p.m., road temperatures are at 32 degrees in Winchester, and you can see we're kind of in the 30 to 32, maybe 33 degree range as we head towards early Sunday morning. And that will eventually grow as we get the warming trend, as we get more rain to move in, as we get that area of warm air to push in from the south and east. We will likely see the warmer road temps expand. Okay. So, some melting is likely on area roadways. It's probably going to be a slushy mess for the most part, because that's what this system is a giant mess, right? But we're likely to see a transition over to rain, and then that will help melt some of the ice accretion that we have on the roadways, on power lines, and everything like that. So, by 6 o'clock a.m. on Sunday, or on Sunday morning, we're in the low to mid 30s still, but I think these numbers are probably too low. So, like Shelbyville, 32 degrees, that's probably more like 34 or 35, right? But as we get towards Sunday afternoon, as that cold front begins to come in, what's going to happen? Well, we're going to see a transition back over to below freezing temperatures on the roadways, and then black ice is going to form, right? So these are the road temps, not the actual air temperatures, but the road temperatures, okay? So keep that in mind. That's what we're looking at there, are the road temperatures and not the actual temperatures. But it's important to keep in mind that we are expecting that transition, like I've been talking about over the past few days, over to plain rain, and that's going to help things a lot still with the heavy rain coming down, and stuff will eventually start to melt with the rain coming down at a pretty good clip. Okay, so let's go to the freakout meter again. We'll check on that one last time here. This is the last time you'll see it for this event probably, but freakout meter, Lord, she's coming. Um, Lord, she's coming is what I have right now. So that's what I've been on over the past few days, and we're still seeing widespread freezing rain across the area, and even as we transition over to rain for a few of us, we're still going to have freezing rain issues in the Middle Tennessee area. So Lord, she's coming for everybody, no matter where you're at. Okay. And she has been for the past few hours. So low temperatures on Monday morning, going to be very low, but in the low teens and upper single digits. 8 degrees in Spring Hill, 9 degrees in Columbia, 11 degrees in Shelbyville, 12 degrees in Manchester and Altamont, 14 in Winchester, Swanee, and Huntland, and 13 in Lynchburg for Monday morning. Okay, very, very chilly on Monday morning. Low temperatures on Tuesday. I have bumped these up a degree or two, but not by much here. 0 degrees, Chapel Hill, Spring Hill, Columbia. 2 degrees, Mount Pleasant, Lewisburg, Shelbyville, Bell Buckle. 4 degrees, Manchester, Tullahoma. 5 degrees, Lynchburg, 5 degrees, Altamont, 5 degrees, and 6, 7, and 8 degrees there in Franklin County. And y'all have kind of been the redheaded stepchild of this event. From a perspective of y'all didn't really get much snow and sleet this morning, and you're going to be the first to transition to rain, which is occurring right now across your area. Okay. So Franklin County is first up with the transition, and it's happening as we speak. Now, like I said, it's going to take a little while to notice things starting to melt, but I promise that things will get better. Roadway conditions will improve as the night goes on, and that heavy rain really sets in. I'm expecting some moderate to locally heavy normal rainfall as we head into early Sunday morning, when the peak of that warm nose is going to be in the area, and that's just going to wipe everything clean. We're basically going to start with a clean slate by the time this event completely moves out for most of us, except for the kind of the area where I had a quarter inch to a half inch plus of ice accumulation possible, that area is kind of where I think that we may have some impacts that last throughout the event, and with the power outages and things like that could occur and kind of stick with us there over Marshall and Murray County. But for most of us here, we should start transitioning over to rain, and then it's going to look like nothing ever happened. Like we never had any sort of snow or sleet or anything like that earlier in the day. So wind chill values Monday morning, starting off at 11 a.m. here, showing wind chill values in the single digits, and we don't get much better throughout the day on Monday. And then looky here, as we get towards Monday night into Tuesday morning, we're going to continue to see these wind chill values as low as the negative teens, okay? Especially the further west you go where the snowpack is kind of close by. Um, the wind chill values will be very, very dangerous across the region, and that's a good reason. That's a reason why a lot of schools have already canceled classes for Monday and Tuesday, both because of these dangerous wind chills. Now, by the time we get to Tuesday afternoon, we're going to start warming up with wind chill values warming up to 20 degrees. Okay, so we're going to have a heat wave here on Tuesday afternoon with the wind chill values, right? So keep that in mind. But it is the bottom line here is that this event is just messy. There's a lot of different variables at play, and it's a hard system to forecast. And I think I've done a fairly good job at it so far with the forecast and everything like that. But it has been tough. It really has been. And this we did pretty good on the snowfall and sleet forecast this morning. And then I think that as we transition over to rain, we're going to see that the ice accumulation forecast is going to be fairly good as well when things are all said and done with the ice and snow and rain and everything like that tomorrow night. Okay, once we finally push that out of here and just have the cold left over, I think this forecast is going to verify fairly nicely, but we still have some time to go. Still have some time to go, and we're kind of past the forecast stage. I'm past showing the forecast maps and everything because there was a lot of there's a lot of time to make those and look at those, but we're past looking at model data at this point really intently, and we've moved on to looking at the observations from the radar data and surface analysis and stuff like that. So let's go back here to the temperatures one last time for the show here and see where we're sitting at. So 32 in Altamont, Suwannee, 34 in Winchester, and 32 in Huntland. So it definitely looks like that we're starting to get that warm nose creep in here, and that's going to continue to push up towards the north and west. I expect a full transition to rain for areas like Manchester, Tullahoma, and Lynchburg somewhere between 7 and 10 p.m., okay? Shelbyville and Bell Buckle, somewhere between 9 and 11 p.m., okay? Lewisburg and Mount Pleasant, probably looking at somewhere around 8 to 12, 8 to midnight, okay? And then finally, our far north and western zones, so that would be Chapel Hill, Spring Hill, and Columbia, looking at somewhere early tomorrow morning, around 3 a.m. or sometime just after that. Now, keep in mind that it all depends on where that transition line sets up, where that freezing line sets up, because it could stall out over Murray County, and then y'all don't see much of a transition at all. But I do think for right now, there is at least a pretty good chance we will all see rain for a little bit, with it pretty much melting away any impacts that we had earlier this morning from Shelbyville and points east, okay? Off to the west, you're probably going to see a little bit of ice and sleet and snow left over from this morning activity, even with the rain coming down. But I think for the most part, we're going to get rid of anything, and we'll be starting with a clean slate. So let me see if there's any questions here before I hop off for the evening. And like I said, there's a lot of variables at play and stuff that we try to forecast this the best we can, but sometimes we just have little quirks that happen that we'll just have to watch for. I do think that we're on a good roll right now, with how the forecast has played out, but we still had to watch for that freezing line, that transition line from freezing rain over to normal rain as we head later into the overnight hours. Okay? And I thank you for all the stars and all your appreciation. And this is this is really the first time I've had all my software and been working on stuff on the side and doing all this crazy stuff during a weather event. We really haven't had any major weather events so far since I transitioned into Southern Tennessee weather from Shelbyville weather. But this is kind of the first event, so I'm trying to work out everything and get everything working good. And I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get some sleep here when this transition line comes in to Shelbyville, and I can go and get some sleep. But we're just going to have to watch that come in and see if I can do that. So yes, I do. Megan has a good question. So, do you think that the moisture on the roads in Franklin County and Coffee County will refreeze with the temperatures being so low Sunday night into Monday? I do believe that we will have widespread black ice issues, especially on county roadways and less traveled roadways. Okay. Maybe not on the main roads, but definitely the back roads are going to have some big time black ice issues as we head into Monday morning and potentially even Tuesday morning, too. So keep that in mind. So Kristen says, sorry, just jumped on. Are we in the clear for the chance of power loss? I don't know where we is. I'm not sure where you're at there, but the we you can't rule out power outages anytime, right? So I don't want to say that, but weather related power outages I say are starting to come to an end as that transition line gets towards you. Okay, so once you kind of transition over to rain is when I think that the power loss chances for weather related stuff starts to decrease a little bit. Now I can't speak for for any local power company or anything like that when it comes to power outages, because there's a lot of variables that aren't weather related that I can't even list off because there's so many. So just be respectful. If your power does go out, even if it's raining, because the linemen are working hard, and everyone here at Duck River Electric has been working hard all day long today to prepare for this system, and we are the most prepared as possible to make sure to help you out. So. Southern Murfreesboro is still going to see freezing rain for a couple more hours here. You are not out of the woods, not out of the woods at all. So, again, I'll go back to the analysis side. Most of us are still seeing freezing rain. Okay. Now, don't take these, like this green down here. It's probably more like the green is up in here. This is an algorithm, right? That, that makes this. So, the algorithm that the radar uses is just a little off on precipitation type. So we are technically above freezing in Winchester right now. So we should start to see improvements over the next couple hours in Winchester. And that transition line into normal rain will continue to push north and east, or north and west, as the evening and overnight continues. Okay. Yes, lots of freezing rain around right now. So, um, all right, so I think I'm going to get off here from the live stream. This will probably be my last live forecast or live update for the night, but I will continue to keep you updated on social media at least for a couple hours. And you can always use the radar that I have, stnweather.com/radar, and I also have a weather app you can download on your mobile devices. Just search up Southern TN Weather. Southern TN Weather on Apple App Store and Google Play. You can also watch our 24/7 weather channel that this live is actually broadcasting on right now. And it's available on YouTube, on Roku TV, as well as Amazon Fire Stick. I have those two apps out right now. Search up Southern TN Weather on Amazon Fire Stick and Roku TV to be able to download the Southern Tennessee Weather Channel on your smart TV devices. Now, I do want to preface that there could be some technical issues with the 24/7 live stream overnight, just because my server is actually not here in Shelbyville where that live stream is broadcasted from, and it's actually in Nashville, and they are expecting to get a lot of sleet or a lot of freezing rain overnight and into tomorrow morning in Nashville. So just be aware that there could be some technical difficulties with the 24/7 live stream. I don't think we're going to have very many issues, but just be aware that there could be some hiccups overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning, and I'm sure y'all will give me grace on that, because this is this has been an interesting system to say the least, and thankfully we haven't had really any widespread issues so far, and I think that's because people are taking this system seriously so far, and I think we can continue that trend into the overnight hours and into tomorrow. Okay, so thank you guys for tuning in to Southern Tennessee Weather on the Southern Tennessee Weather Channel, and I'll continue to have updates on social media and Facebook. And until then, I hope you have a blessed Saturday evening and stay warm.
Accurate local weather without the mainstream hype. You're watching the Southern Tennessee Weather Channel.